So you remember when you signed? We had my homeboy Delano on. He signed with the Texans, and we joked because we say he signed for a steak dinner, pretty much. Do you remember what you signed for? Like you don't have to be specifically, but do you remember like
little piece of change?
Yeah.
Nice. I mean,
what was the first thing you bought?
More than my allowance ever was. I was, my parents would put like $200, in my account every 2 weeks for college. So yeah, it was more than that.
Okay, then that's the good one right there. What was the first thing you did, or first thing you bought?
An iPod Shuffle.
Dang, really? That's it?
That's it.
I'm thinking he finna say like a Rolex or, I'm saying something else. But you were always a low-key guy.
I never really been into material things, though.
So you haven't.
But I bought what I needed.
Except cars. You love cars.
Well, I do love a nice ride.
Except cars.
You got me there. But even still, it's within reason.
Yeah, 100%. So we get the iPod Shuffle. You upload all your songs on there. You can't even see what the song is.
Yeah, but I say, I know, right? How far we come.
So now, okay, you're an Eagle. Take me through the stint. How long do you stay with the Eagles? Welcome to another great edition of After the Season podcast with your girl, JC. That be me. Of course, as always, thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, leaving reviews. You've been sharing, and the platform is growing. And so today, I am literally, this gonna be interesting for me because I've known this guy to my left as long as I've known myself, almost for real. Super Bowl champion, husband, father, man of faith. Contributor for Fox. He's dibbled and dabbled, but he's a former athlete, star athlete at that, and a PG County native. But his name is Kyle Arrington.
We go way back, don't we?
Too far.
Now that you mention it.
Too far. It's crazy because our parents are like this, and they actually, his parents have a media production company, and they were the ones that did the visuals and the audio for my parents' wedding 30 years ago this year. Will be 30 years.
This year.
That's how long we've known each other.
Quite the anniversary.
Very much so, very much so. I wanna jump ahead real quick because you have a dynamic story that I don't think gets shared, told, or is even known. Because as long as I've known you, I've never known you to talk as much as you do now. That's the one thing.
I've gotten that a lot recently.
But you now today are the person that everybody listens to when it comes to giving an analysis. From a person that was quiet at one point to the person that's now everybody's listening to for their opinion. How does that make you feel?
It's humbling. But then what it represents for me is growth. Honestly, adaptation.
Yeah.
I've always been at least I've always felt myself as like a chameleon. I just kind of adapt to whatever my surroundings are, especially if you think about growing up in Prince George's County, 70% of the people, at least at that time, looked like us.
Right.
At least 70%, right? And then to graduate high school and go to Hofstra University, at that time, then it was the third most segregated place in the United States.
Wow.
So yeah, it was different. It was culture shock.
Yeah.
And so, but then again, I kind of had to adapt to my surroundings. Once more over, and I think I love the experience because it was a great precursor to how just like life is and life works. It's just only thing constant is change. You have to continue to just reinvent yourself.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And it's crazy because that era of playing football, especially in PG County, was one of those eras that everybody was migrating over to the county. Everybody. You went to one of the most prominent 4A schools at the time, which was Gwen Park High School, and they were known.
Yeah, you say that again.
No, I'm not giving you too much because I went to friendly.
Shout out, Yellow Jackets.
And still to this day, they're still a powerhouse, whether it's football, whether it's basketball. And there's a lot of people that have come from out of Gwen Park that went to the league, whether that's NBA, NFL, you got some overseas players, whether it's WNBA, all these different players, all these people, PG County birthed and bred, like they breed these types of athletes. But a lot of it comes from the development and the environment. How is it, because I know you went to Hofstra, but how do you think going to Gwynn Park prepared you for your collegiate play as an athlete?
Twofold. I think you alluded to it, but before I get to that, it's first and foremost, it's leadership. It's shout out Coach Hayes.
Yeah,
one of the most
best
well known and rightfully so coaches in the not in Prince George's County but in the DMV.
Yeah,
and so one thing about Coach Hayes is that it's yes, it's about football, but it's about raising you, making sure that you're ready for this, like for this world. So it's about raising a man.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's about accountability.
Yeah.
And yes, he wants you in the football, wants your value that you bring on the football field and on the field. But if you're not doing what you have to do off the field, then you're not suiting up.
Yeah.
Or you might not be on the team at all.
Yeah. I've seen it.
But that's how, like I said, once again, because that's how life is going to work. There's consequences for your action or inaction.
Yeah. And it's crazy because being able to see it, because you hear a lot of these coaches say they want to make them into great men, great fathers, great husbands, great brothers, great whatever, sons, all these different things. But you got to show that from somebody who actually embodies it in high school. How when you think about the leadership aspect of it that you use from playing football, what is one thing that you took away the most aside from the leadership as an athlete that helped you translate over into the collegiate part of the game?
Preparation. Because even before high school, definitely when I got to high school, but even before high school, when I was playing little, I mean, I say people like, no, you're too humble. Like, no, I'm real. Like, I'm honest.
Yeah.
I was decent, at Pop Warner, the league, but I was average at best. If you think about the statistics, it's 100, what they say, 1%, less than 1% chance
yeah.
of, being a professional athlete.
Yep.
And so if you stuck 100 kids in a room, you go back,
go
back in time, you stick 100 kids in a room, and I'm part of that 100. You wouldn't point at me like, yo, he's going to be the one.
Right.
So I was no prodigy. I wasn't the most talented kid in the room, but I knew one thing I could control was, the amount of work I put in, how hard I prepared. And so I think that's one value that I attained at a foundational level.
Right.
And then it was just amplified once I got to Gwynn Park.
So talk about, because we have a lot of parents that actually watch this and they show their kids, and that's been the goal of it. Talk about how the preparation game day, what does it look like in high school? Because, they think that there's no practices in the morning or we only practice in the afternoon, things of that nature. But talk a little bit about how you were able to understand collegiate preparation at the high school level when it comes to getting up, doing classwork, being able to be on time, all of those different things. Like, what does your schedule look like?
From a high school
from
level?
High school level.
High school level. Rules, requirements. It's not but so much time in the day that they can have you, hold you, keep you.
Right.
And so it's just whatever they and Coach Hayes, he's gonna max that out.
He's gonna use every minute.
Yeah. So when it comes to practicing, he might even run over. He might run over a few minutes.
Yeah.
But when it comes to film and watching film as a group, everything. So but then if you think about it, like as far as like individually, where you want football to be the vehicle that takes you to, just almost incalculable amounts of success that you can attain. Through the sport.
Yeah, 100%.
Think about it, especially nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Where we're gonna get all the contracts, everything.
Facts.
Nowadays,
Facts.
that's going down. But shout out Jalen Hurts. He deserves every penny.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, but no, as I was saying though. So, but even then, still, that's not enough. When it comes to everything that you do with your team through the confines of the school building, school campus property, it's not enough. You have to put in the work, when no one's watching.
Right.
I think honestly, that's when the real work is put in.
Yeah.
Is when no one is watching, no one is expecting.
Yeah. How hard do you go for you?
Yes, exactly. Because every rank that you level up,
right?
With high school, collegiate, especially if you're lucky enough or you're good enough to make it to the professional,
right?
That's what's going to separate the decent from the good and the mediocre from the good and the good from the great.
Right.
Is like trying to gain every inch, and that's in between the lines. You know, so whether it's watching film, whether it's stretching, yoga, or meditation. I mean, like it all benefits and translates because you think about your mind. Well, it's connected.
Right.
Everything's connected.
100%.
Mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
And so you need all of it
Yeah.
to perform at your most optimal level. And all of it starts at laying that foundation.
Right.
You know, from little league, from high school.
So I'm glad you brought that up because coming out of high school, were you highly recruited? Because I know you alluded, I wasn't the most talented. I wasn't the person that everybody would pick out of the room to say, yo, he's going to be the one that's going to go pro. Because, you know, you played and went to school with Phil Taylor and all these other different players. How were you highly recruited, or was Hofstra your only opportunity to go when it comes to like the D1 level?
So that's a great question. So yes, we had the Phil Taylors, we had the Wesley Jeffersons, we had the Seth Mitchells. You know, we had the Rock Carmichaels. So myself, I wasn't even the top 5 player on my team my senior year. I wasn't even top 5. I promise you. That's not me, once again, being humble, me being honest. We had guys like Rafiq Jahari, the twins, Brandon Hawkins, running back DeAndre, quarterback Lamar Heisen. So I can probably name a few more before you would think of me. Anybody would think of me. But one thing that we did breed as a culture, you know, that senior year, just even going into that senior year, was just a certain work ethic. Yeah. You know, I talked about, you know, we was kind of joking with you a little bit about being a rabbit, being a pace setter, but that was me. Like, you know, I realized, like, once again, I wasn't going to be the most talented out of the bunch, but I dare you to find somebody that's going to outwork me. So yeah, I just kind of, I kept that mindset, and I kept that pedigree, even still to this day. Yeah. So, no, and it's. So
did Hofstra, was Hofstra your only offer, or?
To answer that, I flew under the radar my senior year. You know, a few injuries my junior year, just a couple dislocations, separation of my shoulder, and so I didn't play at all my junior year. So I only played 1 year of varsity football. So
hold on. Why I think you? Okay, all right.
Just 1 year of varsity football. So as you can imagine, like I said, flew under the radar. So senior year, but I had a great season though. 5 interceptions. I was also a punt returner, kick returner. Had a lot of highlights in doing so. Made all county as a punt returner, kick returner
in 1 year.
So yes, I mean, a lot of deep. Matter of fact, I went to Elizabeth City. I took a tour to Elizabeth City.
Really?
They offered, but you know how I go. You know, with D2, it's not full scholarship, not full ride. So
I would have loved this.
So the twins were, as I mentioned, Rafiq and Jahari, they were supposed to go to Hofstra. They actually backed out the 11th hour when it came to the recruitment season and went to Delaware. And so therefore, opportunity opened up for me to take a visit. Okay. And I mean, that was my only D1 offer. You know, albeit one AA, but still only D1 offer that was on the table. For a free education. So first and foremost, for a free education.
Right. And I think you speaking in that perspective as far as the education side of it, most people that hear that, they think, oh, he never thought he was gonna go to the league. So it was like, if I'm gonna just get my degree, let me at least let them pay for it, type of situation. Did you think, of course, at that time it was D1 or failure type of thing. Did you ever have that mindset, or was it solely about let me just get there?
I've always been the type of person where I've been even killed, where it's like I don't put a whole bunch of stock into, but I'm gonna get so up, or I'm gonna get so down. I'm gonna just work my ass off, and I'm gonna let the chips fall where they fall. Right. And so I believe in, like, when you're trying to do positive things, positive results gotta follow. Right. Like, right. They just gotta follow, and that's always kind of been my once again my creed, my pedigree. Right. I don't judge everybody. It is who they are. Right. I just been one with, like, okay, I'm not. Even now, as an adult, respect my wife, respect my family. I love my wife, love my family. Just love my community, and I'm not going to put myself in a position to make
crazy
anybody look crazy. Yeah. That's always kind of been my mindset, even at a young level. And I'm not saying I got it right away. Yeah. I just understood right away. I'm still a kid. Right. I still make mistakes, but that's a part of life as well. You learn. Yeah.
Was the chip on your shoulder though?
Yes, the chip's still on my shoulder. It ain't never failed. It ain't never fell off.
Because it's like, okay, they chose you. They didn't really choose you. They chose the twins. Yeah. So it's like you wasn't.
I was a consolidation. Yeah.
So did you? So going into Hofstra with that, like, what was your mindset, if you remember? Like, y'all ain't even really want me. So now, what's your mental at that point?
And then not only was I the consolation prize, we had a coaching regime change after my first year, and so if you can even imagine, then they really didn't want me.
Oh man,
You know, so I didn't even become a full starter until my junior year at a 1AA, mind you, just to keep that in context. I didn't become a full-time starter until my junior year. So I played 2 years starting at Hofstra.
wow.
But once again,
Wow.
if you know, you go back, you look at the highlights, you ask anybody, oh no, like one thing about me, you was gonna know I was on the field.
Yeah, see, I remember. I never forget this. So this is a family moment. I remember when your dad did your highlight tape. I never forget this. He used that's when 300 had just came out,
Yep.
and he used the hit that the guy did on this bull, and it knocked him back. And that's exactly what you look like on that highlight field. Because I've seen you literally put people back to halftime in their brain, and it's the fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
So you was a hitter for sure.
Well, I had to use that to my advantage because as a corner, I had to think about, just even as a football player, even as a person, you think about it in real life. What separates you from the next person? So me being a physical corner, you know, a lot of coaches would appreciate that, especially at the next level,
Right?
Because corners are considered, you know, they're not willing to tackle, come up, you know, hit you a little, so whatever soft case may be. But no, man, if you're use your physicality and you set a certain tone, you know, especially at, you know, the start of a game. Yeah, I mean that is a lot. It's appreciated out there in a lot of franchises.
100%.
And so, like, yeah, I had to adopt that mindset in college. And what's funny is, I was the complete opposite my senior year in high school because, like, as you can imagine, I mentioned all the shoulder injuries.
Right.
So I was out there timid. You know,
Really?
I didn't want no, like, I didn't want
You
no
didn't
smoke.
want no energy.
I didn't want no smokes. I'm just thinking about in the back of my mind. I'm not trying to, like, you know, it hurts. Like, you know, dislocate your shoulder, separating your shoulder, like that crap hurts. So I was real selective how I would tackle people. And I had one coach in high school. He would call me Leon. I don't know if you remember the old Budweiser commercials. You know, it was this football player who only just kind of cared about himself.
Okay.
Or he would sit on the bench. You know, he was supposed to go in the game. Like, nah, I'm good, coach.
Okay.
So he would call me.
I'm just here. I'm cool with this. Like, y'all go ahead. Y'all take care of this.
I ain't gonna say no names. You know, as far as a coach. But I mean, but I could appreciate that coach as well because once again, he held a mirror to my face, and so at that point, I knew it couldn't be the same. I couldn't go into college with that same type of scouting report,
right?
You know, I had, and then the only what changed it was that I had to, like I mentioned, reinvent myself. Once I got to school in more ways than one, and one of them being on the field. Okay, now I wasn't going to be able to be I know I wasn't a technician.
Right.
You know, playing corner. I know I wasn't, you know, the most refined,
you
know, person in that position. So what I knew was what I could do was insert how physical I could be and just kind of make it hell out there. Not only for the receivers, but for everybody. Because you know what I mean, you knew if I was out there on the field, you were going to know. My presence was going to be known.
Yeah.
So, but just as far just to tap into the mentality of it, I just had to look, you know, take a hard look at myself in the mirror. We all got to do that from time to time.
100%. The ability to self-assess.
Yeah, a hard look at myself in the mirror, self-appraise where I am now, where I want to be. And I say, man, I just got to, work your ass off, get bigger, faster, strong. So I put the work in. So I gained muscle. Right. It was able to kind of, you know, protect that shoulder, you know, be able to last. Right. You know, going out there and being physical. So, you know, once I prepared, put that work in, it set my mind at ease.
I got you. Okay, so depending on when you all are listening or watching this, the NFL draft is already about to take place. You had the opportunity to play in the NFL, undrafted, free agent, and nobody called.
Technically somebody did call.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna ask. How walk me through, because you had to live that moment of watching the draft happen and hoping your name happens in there, but not knowing if it will. Walk me through what that felt like coming out of Hofstra, only having 2 years. NFL draft is here. You have no idea what your future looks like.
Well, first let me tell you, there's so many emotions that you experience even preceding the draft. It starts from, you know, excitement, adrenaline, to restlessness. The closer you get, you know, the angst, the full blown, like, just you know, nervousness, stress,
I got you.
anxiety. So I knew the first day was a wash. You know, well, so the draft back then isn't the spectacle it is now.
Right.
You know, so they made a 3-day event. Back then it was 2 days, rounds 1 through 3 maybe, then 4 through 7 the second day. So the first day that was a wash. I wasn't even paying attention the first day.
Okay.
But there was a real opportunity that the second day, anywhere between the 4th and the 7th round, that my name would get called.
Right.
But once again, I wasn't putting a whole bunch of stock into it. As long as I got the opportunity, and so I did get a call from Philly.
Okay.
In the 6th round. They said, if nobody takes you in this upcoming round, the 7th round, like, we want you to be our top priority free agent.
Okay.
So right in that moment, I was like, I didn't care whether I was drafted or undrafted. The possibility became a reality.
Right.
The dream, I should say, became a reality at that point. So here comes the 7th round rolls around, like, my name not called. So Philly calls me back again, and they make everything logistically. They tell me all the logistics got to go into place. But I mean, congratulations, you're a Philadelphia Eagle.
Got it.
And so it's like, I had a lot of family, friends, neighbors. They were over the house. Everybody was celebrating after I, delivered the news.
Right.
And after, maybe 10 minutes or so, just had to step outside of my parents' porch and just kind of really process.
Take it all in.
Yeah. Take it all in and process, because if you think about the very moment you strap on them cleats, and I'm talking about like them old school shark cleats. Anybody remember? Yeah. So the very first moment you strap those on, I mean, you can't help but think about playing on the highest level. Yeah. And so to go through that journey, like I said, from Little League to Pop Warner, Little League, Pop Warner, to high school, to college, and now an opportunity to be a professional athlete. Yeah. Where we just talked about the statistics, right? Right. And it's not just you on that journey; it's everybody. Right. You take your family, your friends, your community. You wear your name on your back. Yeah. So it was surreal. It was a surreal moment.
I'm kind of glad you said it, because I know we as athletes, we take on this role of, I got to make my parents. I got them out of their situation. Now, fortunately, we're the anomaly. Our parents are still married. Never saw like scandals. We saw them date each other, love each other, things of that nature. Whatever they did in their households is whatever, but our parents are still together. Your parents are still together. So you came from a background where most people would look at you like you have it all. But did you ever take on that responsibility of that role like most athletes do? Like, I got to make sure my parents have a better life, even though they were good?
No. Okay. Just to answer your question.
Okay.
So yes, I mean, you mentioned that. I mean, we came from middle class. I mean, it's not like, I won't say we were upper middle or anything like that, but it's not like we had to figure out where we were going to have for dinner, tomorrow night, anything like that. Right. So, but it's a different type of pressure. I mean, everybody has pressure. So mine was a different type of pressure. My pressure I put on myself was, how can I make my parents proud? How can I make my parents proud? I saw, like you saw, they loved each other. They were committed to each other. They were committed to us, me and my sister. They took us, from every game, every practice. They never missed a game. Even in New York, they would come to all my games in New York. We're in Maryland, right? So that commitment, insane. Like, how do you pay that forward? And that's just doing what you got to do. Right. Not only on the field, but off of the field. And so most importantly, off of the field. Right. Because I've seen so many athletes way far more talented than me, but just not even giving themselves a chance because they, did some foolishness or something they should have been doing. Right. Off of the field. But it's interesting you say that my experience, with other, guys, with the predominantly guys who, yes, they come from single parent households, impoverished communities, marginalized communities, things like that. And it's like, I was the aberration. I was an anomaly, like you said. People even from time to time would look at me like, yo, why do you talk like that? And I'm thinking to myself, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm talking. Like why are you using those words? I'm like, a vocabulary? You know what I'm saying? A vocabulary? You mean subject, verb, and agreement. Yeah. It was just so, yes, it was interesting. Because, I mean, and I didn't go to one of those schools where, I didn't go to a big time powerhouse school where people would just do my homework and not judging or anything like that. Right. But I went to school. I did the work. I turned on the test grade. I wrote my papers. So yes, that degree I earned. Yeah. And not to say nobody else did earn this, but no, I mean, when I went to school and I learned. Yeah, I mean, but a lot of the NFL players don't have their degree. Some of them don't even go back, so it's like you have yours. There's some of them. Let's be real. They don't even go to class. They're there to play football. Yeah, pretty much. Or whatever their sport is, they're there to do just that.
and foot the bill that's being paid towards them. And so that's the reason why I asked, because, a lot of us, we take on that role, but being that you were able to sign with the Eagles, okay, now the real work begins, because, okay, you hit the goal to actually make them proud. At this point, they were already proud because they were already showing up, right? They were your parents no matter what. Do you think that if you never got the call or never went into the league, that you fulfilled the goal still of making them proud?
That's a best way to answer that question. It's a never-ending journey.
Okay.
It's just, how do you reinvent? How do you reinvent that? That journey? How do you reinvent that opportunity, or what that looks like, I guess.
Yeah.
So making them proud is now not something that, okay, if I could do this, then that should be enough.
So you remember when you signed? We had my homeboy Delano on. He signed with the Texans, and we joked because we say he signed for a steak dinner, pretty much. Do you remember what you signed for? Like you don't have to be specifically, but do you remember like
little piece of change?
Yeah.
Nice. I mean,
what was the first thing you bought?
More than my allowance ever was. I was, my parents would put like $200, in my account every 2 weeks for college. So it was more than that.
Okay, then that's a good one right there. What was the first thing you did, or first thing you bought?
An iPod Shuffle.
Dang, really? That's it?
That's it.
I'm thinking he finna say like a Rolex, or something else. But you were always a low key guy.
I never really been into material things though. So
you haven't.
No, but I bought what I needed.
Except cars. You love cars.
Well, I do love a nice ride.
Except cars.
You got me there. But even still, it's within reason.
Yeah. 100%. So we get the iPod Shuffle. You upload all your songs on there. You can't even see what the song is. On
Yeah, but I know, right? Yeah, how far we come.
So now, okay, you're an Eagle. Take me through the stint. How long do you stay with the Eagles? What is the first day of being an NFL player look like?
I didn't know what to expect. I just knew I was a small fish in a big pond.
Okay.
In a big ass pond. Mind my French. But I just kind of went in there with just no expectations, other than I was gonna work my ass off.
Yeah, and I belong in the room.
Yeah, exactly. So no expectations from the coaches, from the GM, executives. Yes, I was a top priority free agent, but you're still a free agent, right. So you're still gonna be treated a certain way as far as I like to say cannon fodder. Your body. Got it. You're there to fill out the roster. You need 90 guys, for training camp. So if you can imagine, they're going to use you. They can't use you no more. Right. But my first day there, so it's interesting. So first get in the locker room. They give me the tour. Kind of nobody's there. Yet I'm the first person there. Well, me and Brian Dawkins. Wow. So this is Brian Dawkins we're talking about.
Literally.
So yeah. Hall of Famer. Safety. So I looked up to this guys like him. Sean Taylor, they were my idols as far as, instilling a physicality, that I wanted to emulate. Yeah. And so it was, it was a crazy moment. And so he's at his locker. Well, he's at one of his lockers. So
one of them. How many lockers did this man have?
So in my entire NFL experience, Brian Dawkins is the only person I've ever come across to have not one but two lockers. He has one for himself and one for his alter ego, Wolverine.
I'm sorry, what?
He has one for himself and one for his alter ego, Wolverine.
So wait,
he got the Wolverine figures and all that in there. So it was interesting.
So that was the game day locker versus him preparing, I guess. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, but we'll come back to that later.
Yeah, please, because I got questions at this point.
So but he was he was cool. But he was real. Like, hey man, glad to have you. It's gonna be some work. You have to put in that work. If you and this is a guy who has laid a certain foundation culture within that franchise for years.
Yeah, 100%.
So I could appreciate for him letting me know, man, if you want to be a part of this culture,
you're gonna have to do something and do it differently. Exactly. And stand out at it.
And that's what you have to do, when you're a guy like that in my position. You got to do something every day to catch those coaches' eyes. Every single day. A few times a day, damn near. And that's what I did. So they have this, like most teams do, a production chart when you first get there. So from the very beginning, I got there through rookie mini camp, OTAs, veteran mini camp, veteran camp, all the way to preseason. My name was at the top of that list when it came to interceptions, forced fumbles, breakups, hustle points, whatever have you. And I'm talking about
the dirty work.
I'm talking about guys like Asante Samuel, Lito Shepherd, Sheldon Brown, Brian Dawkins, Quentin Michaels. So I'm talking about my name was at the top of that leaderboard from the very beginning through the very end of training camp. So as I made an impression.
Right.
What happened? I was released after the first week of the season. They put me on a practice squad, but I was released after the first week of the season because for whatever reason, I shouldn't say whatever reason, but the production just didn't translate into the exhibition games. I didn't have a bad preseason, but it just wasn't the same amount of production that they saw from going against our guys.
So that's interesting because the preseason basically is a job day, week by week. You're fighting for a position week by week.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you could have done differently to help that translate? Or was it anything? Because at the end of the day, you showed that you know how to do the job.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So
what do you think you could have done?
I showed I belong right out the gate. And I think it was my experience at Tampa in which I was really able to put the pieces together. So I want to jump forward, but I think it helps in a way to bring it up.
Yeah.
So I go to Tampa the rest of that season, same
season after you're released from Philly.
Yeah, same season.
Okay.
So I finished my rookie season in Tampa, same song. I go down there, I'm on the practice squad, look team, crushing it. Going up against guys like Joey Galloway, Michael Clayton. There's some other, some Hall of Famers there as well in their own right. And so, like I said, I know I belong. Once it's okay, this is second opportunity now.
Mm-hmm.
Some kids in my situation don't get 2 bites of the apple.
Right.
So I said this has to be it.
Yeah.
Once again, going to training camp preseason. Had a good enough preseason where, I make the opening day roster.
Okay.
So here I am, opening day, we're playing the Cowboys. And I'm a special teamer, though. I'm not expected to go out there and play on defense just yet.
Okay.
I'm running down. We're kicking the ball off. This is the first NFL game. My parents fly out. They come to Florida, come to Tampa. They're in the crowd, in the stands. I'm just like so many emotions, butterflies, adrenaline, you just feelings all over the place. And so I'm running down as hard as I can. Go through the first wave and weaving and bobbing. And it's almost like the movie Invincible. Mark Wahlberg, who I don't know whomever saw that movie, when he gets his first opportunity with the Eagles, running down there on special teams on kickoff, and he whiffs and misses the tackle.
Oh, no.
Like, same exact script.
Oh, no.
So Felix Jones is back there as the returner, and he, like I said, I do everything I have to do to beat the front line, to beat the wedge, and all you got to do at this point is make the tackle.
Oh, no.
I whiff, and I think he gets like maybe 40 more yards.
Oh, no.
And then the Cowboys subsequently end up beating us like they beat the brakes off of us into that game. Yeah. So that was that was all she wrote pretty much for Tampa. And I couldn't look at anybody but myself in the mirror once again. At that point. The opportunity was there. I didn't seize it. Okay. So I'm thinking at this point it's over.
Because it's like the same story is happening twice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you go from at that point it's like, are you considering hanging it up or do you try again?
Well, at this point, I'm thinking it's over because I'm, like I said, not only did I get one, I got 2 bites of the apple.
Right.
As an undrafted free agent.
Right.
Most kids are thinking to themselves, okay, let me go think about working out. I don't know how Target was prevalent back then just yet, but let me go work at Best Buy or something. I don't know. So
my next career is calling.
Yeah. But my agent called me and said, hey, New England wants you to come up and work out for them. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm not gonna say no, obviously, but if I couldn't hack, that subconscious, right?
Yeah.
There's a consciousness and there's that subconscious. That subconscious, like, well, you couldn't hack it in Philly, you couldn't hack it in Tampa. What makes you think you're going to make it in?
And this is Tom Brady era.
This is the height of their dominance.
Yeah.
And the height of their dominance, right? For 2 decades. And so I was like, okay, let's this is it.
Yeah.
This is really it. You thought the last one was it, but like, bruh,
you got
the universe trying to tell you something. Like, hey, no more redo.
I'm gonna give you one more chance at this.
Exactly,
you blow it, you on you.
So go up there, first day on the job, first practice. This how they did me first practice. I guess you really show you, trying to see what you made of, show yourself what you're made of as well. They put me in front one-on-ones. It's Tom Brady and it's Randy Moss. Lined up at receiver. Here comes Randy Moss. So I had a little Denzel moment internally.
Oh.
I was like, oh, you mother.
Oh.
That's how y'all gonna do me?
Oh.
I'm like,
they don't want you. They don't want. This was a setup.
Yeah, but no. So Randy runs a skinny post. I jump in front of it, break it up. End up having a great practice that day. Once I'm on the look team, so running the scout team, the cards. I pick off Tom Brady and practice, jump in front of a ball, meant for West Welcome. Jump in front of it, I take it to the crib. I don't care. I don't care. I just picked off Tom Brady and I scored a touchdown.
Yeah. At this point, I've done my job.
Yeah. So I get home back to the apartment. I call any and everybody that would listen. I call my mom and everybody, anybody that would, they would pick up the phone. Like, oh, yo, I picked off Tom Brady. I still got the ball. I still got that practice ball.
You kept the.
I was like, yo, I don't know if I'm gonna make a career out of this just yet, but I don't. Hey, I got that ball.
But I bet you I got this one.
I got that claim to my name.
Oh my goodness.
But so 7-8 weeks roll by. I think it's week 9. Somebody gets hurt on special teams. Hey, my name gets called. Hey,
wow.
This is your time. And so I had once again a long conversation with myself that night in the hotel room, and I feel like I was able to just kind of bring it full circle. Mm-hmm. I'm the type of person where I don't look at every experience as either all negative or all positive.
Right.
I think there's always something you could take away.
Right.
And so I was able to take away, okay, I did some good things in Philly.
Right.
Okay, but here, and I learned in Tampa.
Right.
Because I made the opening roster.
Right.
And so I was able to, I did some good things here. Okay, but this is what I'm missing. I feel like really the only difference between me and them was me. Because once you're in practice and then you get familiar with some guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, then it becomes easier, I guess.
Right.
But when it's game time and all you have on your opponent is like film going in.
Right.
I had to become more of a student of the game.
Okay.
And I as hard as I thought I prepared at that foundation level I talked about in high school and college, no. The level, the amount that you have to prepare at the NFL level, right? That is what's going to separate.
But you also are playing for the Patriots now, and there's this thing, the Patriot way. Is that a real thing? Like, is the Patriot way a real thing when it comes to Bill Belichick and the relationship that Tom Brady and how they instill? Because you're around all of this on a regular basis, plus with Randy Moss in that era. Like, is the Patriot way a real thing?
The Patriot way is a. Let me see the best way to explain the Patriot way.
Oh man.
It's just the Patriot way is just a select. You have to be a certain type of person, not a certain type of athlete. Yeah, for sure. That's any organization. Right. But you have to be a certain type of person as well. Have a certain type of mindset as well in order to thrive. I don't want to say survive. Use a word like survive. I want to say thrive in order to thrive in a environment like that. Because one thing that a lot of teams will say around New England is that, hey, y'all win football games, but y'all don't have no fun. So in Bill's mind, we there to win football games and nothing else. Yeah, that's the Patriot way. Yeah, you there to play football and win football games and nothing else. When I emphasize emphasis on the nothing. Nothing else.
Like see tomorrow practice, see tomorrow game, see tomorrow practice, see tomorrow game.
So he kind of gives the same spiel every year in year out for our training camp with the team. Yeah. So we had this team meeting before we go to the hotel, wake up next morning, start first day of training camp, and part of that speech is say, hey, I have in my desk, if I get a speeding ticket or so I get whatever in the mail, I put that SHIT in the desk. And I don't get back to it until the bye week. So whatever comes up, I don't care. You got to renew your license in the NBA.
Wow.
Like, I don't care if it ain't about football and if it ain't about winning the football game. Like we not giving it too much. We're not giving it any attention.
It's so interesting because you see all of these different organizations that praise Bill Belichick and praise playing for Tom Brady, but sitting next to somebody who's actually been in that atmosphere, what did that show you about life? Not just as a football player, but like, does that type of discipline that has to be instilled for the game, was it a culture shock even from life perspective, like the discipline running in it?
I think everything that I went through had prepared me for that moment. Okay. To play in New England. Yeah. Yes. If you don't have a certain level of caliber, or approach to the game, then you're not gonna make it. You had like your Ocho Cinco's and your Yo, what's my man? I'm having a from the Albert Hainsworth.
Okay.
You had your Albert Hainsworth, you had your Oshers, guys like that.
Yeah.
That would come to Reggie Waynes, right? That would, veteran guys,
Yeah.
so maybe toward the end of the career, but they were treated a certain way in their respective, former franchises. And when you get to New England, nah. Like it's not.
Yeah, everybody the same.
Yeah, everybody the same, bro. You're not gonna get no special treatment. And then on top, so that kind of already may mess with you mentally. Then once you're gonna feel, it's like, okay, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do on the field, like everything has to be done right. It's like you got a lot of veterans will come and say, hey, you got like the game is, I'm gonna turn it on in the game.
Yeah.
Nah, New England not like that. They want to see it in practice. They want to see it in practice. You're not going to do it in practice. You're not going to suit up. You're not going to do it in the game.
Wow.
Yeah. So like practice is like, it almost goes back to like a high school collegiate atmosphere as far as practice is concerned. But a lot of other franchises like, it's kind of like more so, man, we just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay. So you play for the Patriots. You win a Super Bowl. A lot of people can't say they win a Super Bowl. How did that moment feel for you?
It was as you can see, almost indescribable.
Yeah.
Like I said, once again, from the moment you put on those cleats, you think about playing at the highest level, but then playing on the biggest stage as well. Mm-hmm. And so that it doesn't get any bigger. Oh. And and once the confetti, kind of came down and made it real.
Yeah.
At the end, once again, all I could think about was, my parents, my sister, my friends, everybody. Like I said, my wife,
right,
my kids, everybody just went on this ride, went on this journey with me.
Right.
It isn't just for me.
Yeah.
It's it's for them, and so for them to rush down and just hug you at the end. It's euphoric.
I get
it. It's what it is.
I get it. Mm-hmm. But you didn't stay in New England. You actually had a stint in Baltimore.
I did, and that was the beginning of the end.
And I'm curious because they traded you after, or did you get released, or did you get traded, or did you get
released after that? Yeah.
So you got released after the Super Bowl.
In that offseason, and went to Baltimore last 2 years or last year.
What was the difference? How was it night and day between going from New England to Baltimore?
It was probably not necessarily as night and day as night and twilight hour.
Okay. okay. Break that down.
No, Harbaugh, great. Well, Mr. Bisciotti, a great owner, franchise leadership. Harbaugh, great coach, leader as well. And when you're New England and you set that bar, everybody tries to
emulate it.
Yeah. And that was you could see that from Harbaugh in Baltimore. Even when I got it, he would always ask me like, how does Bill do that? How did Bill approach that?
Right.
And so the practices were very similar. Although I think they might have ran just a tad bit longer, in Baltimore. Now you're back in Maryland with that humidity.
Yeah, 100%.
So there's that.
Okay.
But a lot of the things that he would do or try to emulate, and his thing was also kind of the mental toughness aspect. That's one thing Bill does as well. I think better than anybody to try to build that mental toughness. So therefore, he wants to make it as hard as he can on you in practice. Therefore, the game it just comes
easier and it's natural,
second nature. Yeah.
So
Harbaugh try to do the same thing.
And Baltimore, of course, is getting a bad rap right now. You think they should pay Lamar?
And don't talk if I say that's a tough one. It all goes back to Deshaun Watson and Cleveland.
Right.
We could be real.
Right.
Well, it all goes back to that, and a lot of GMs, executives, owners scratching their heads like, what the hell?
What the hell was you thinking? And why?
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Right. But one thing they're trying to get across the board now is that look that QBs.
Yeah.
Don't expect that to happen again.
Yeah.
So but that is interesting because the way it works is when somebody sets the market.
Then it's set until it's reset.
That's the market. But so what they're trying to do is, like you said, reset the market right now. So you see the current deal Jalen took, the 180 guaranteed. That's pretty much where they okay. We're not trying to give you 240, 250, 260 guaranteed.
Right.
We can't do that. That takes up 15, 20% of the salary cap. And if it's about, I get it from both sides though.
Right.
If you're Lamar, you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the person coming after you as well.
Right.
In terms of giving more power to the players.
You said something when it came to it. You said it's the beginning of the end when you got to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you feel like that? How did your career end?
Well, it ended on a severe head injury, concussion.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my second year preseason. First year, we didn't. I'm thinking, okay, here's once again the opportunity to. I got a chip on my shoulder. I've all these years in New England, 7 years in New England, and now all of a sudden, I guess you don't want me.
Right.
That's fine. That doesn't do anything. I don't get angry. I don't get mad. I get motivated.
Okay.
And so here I am, Baltimore. I probably haven't worked this hard in the offseason since, maybe coming into my rookie season.
Okay.
Like I'm hungry, and we end up not having the season that I expected, and that's one of the reasons I chose Baltimore was because they're always a contender.
Right.
And,
yeah, they are.
And most times they're gonna see New England.
Mm-hmm.
So I was expecting that.
Right.
It didn't quite turn out like that way the first year. We I think we won like 5 games.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a long season.
So having the concussion, and of course we saw the movie. Do you think the NFLPA has upheld the standard of protecting the players to this point, especially when it comes to you have the concussion piece of it, you have dealing with like mental health issues, especially like seeing Antonio Brown, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Do you think that they're upholding the standard when it comes to protecting you all, especially post-career?
Yo, you asking some real questions right now. Huh? I think they're reactive and not proactive in their approach. I think they do the minimum of what they have to do.
Wow.
Even when you think about healthcare, guys, after 5 years, your healthcare runs out. You're on your own.
What?
That's the way we're. No, healthcare is not like the NBA or anything like that. It's not guaranteed. So even when it comes to retired players and certain benefits or even taking care of them, certain injuries that they have, they do the bare minimum. It's about protecting the bottom line more so than protecting the players.
Wow.
I would say, they're running the business.
Right.
They're running a whatever number's up to now.
Right.
Dollar business.
Right.
So it's about protecting that bottom. Even the NFLPA. Yes, they are or the players union for the players. Right. Even still, they're kind of in concert in bed to a certain degree.
Pretty much.
With the league.
It's interesting because after your career, like now, you hit the pinnacle. You feel like you've been thrown to the wayside. You got a ring. You went quiet for a long period of time. What was it like in that space of not knowing, okay, really who is Kyle Arrington beyond football at this point?
Well, fortunately, I always kind of said to myself, I never really wanted football to define me. Mm-hmm. So there's that. But even before that, just to answer your question, like I was quiet because I was forced to be. With the severe concussion, head injury, it took me a while to even get back to my bay. Even every day is still a journey. Some post, some symptoms. Yeah, some post concussive symptoms. So, but that I'm just thankful for my support system from day one. Same support system I have from day one. Same support system I have now. Instilled a certain, like I said, hunger, pedigree, and just mindset in me. And I said, hey, look. This is not going to. I'm not going to, ever be a victim of any circumstance or situation. So I'm not going to bore you with the details of everything I went through. Right. But it was a journey. I will say that. Right. And the same work ethic that got me to to the pinnacle. Right. Playing on the Super Bowl in front of thousands is going to have to be that same work ethic, but in a different way. Right. To just allow me to be sound mind, body, and spirit.
I remember when you first did your first sit down on ESPN, and I was like, I was happy because I'm like, that's my guy. But at the same time, it kind of, for me, looked at it, I'm like, yo, I've never seen Kyle talk. So it was kind of one of those things for me, like looking at you in a perspective of, is he being forced to do this because of what happened? How did you feel when it kind of like, you were kind of, because you said you couldn't talk. Like, in that perspective, you really couldn't, because we know the lawsuits and all of these other things, but like you really couldn't say too much of anything, even regarding how you even felt.
I couldn't even formulate a thought or any type of critical thinking, deep thinking, conversation, train of thought. I mean, you name it.
Wow.
And a lot of guys, they like I said, I'm not going to get deep into to do all that, but a lot of guys, they kind of, I'm saying a lot of guys, but you think about forming like alexithymia. It's the not being able to associate your feelings, your emotions, your words with feelings,
and emotions. Right.
Yeah. And so I feel like that was me.
Wow.
At that point, I couldn't even tell like how you feeling. I couldn't even come up with the word.
Wow.
To how I was feeling, right? And so like the things we take for granted, like once again, just even being of sound mind, body, and spirit.
Right.
It was work. It was a psychologist, psychiatrist, neurologist, speech language therapist.
Wow.
And that's just on the cognitive, mental side. I still a lot ortho, chiropractor, back and spine and back and pain, specialist.
Wow.
I had some back issues too going on. So it's a combination of ortho and like I said, cognitive. So it was like, but it was par for the course.
Right.
I ain't never had it easy.
Yeah.
So why expect anything less now?
Yeah.
So
and of course you're married, so and there's a lot of we've learned as our audience continues to grow. There's a lot of women that deal with the athlete, right? That haven't. They don't necessarily know how to communicate properly with their significant other. How has your marriage evolved now, being that person that you start out being this football player, I'm on a high, my husband plays in the NFL, and it's like, okay, great. Now you're the guy that's off the field and learning yourself at the same time. How has your wife been able to evolve and adapt within that space with you?
Everything happened for a reason. So I think part of the glass half full, conversation is that it made our marriage stronger.
Okay.
Like you said, I mean, everything is going, what
Yeah.
does everything look like when it's not going great?
Yeah.
When they talk about for better or for worse, I mean, hey, we in the thick of that.
Yeah.
We in the thick of the worst part. So, so no, but like once again, with that support system really, it started with her. Like, yes, I had my mom and dad and sister and friends when I was younger, but okay, to get me through stuff. But when everything happened with the head injury and the head back and all that, that combination. It was my wife, when she was driving 495 all the way up and down the place, taking me to every appointment, pick prescriptions, whatever the case. So she, we talk about a ride or die.
Yeah. Everybody try to get one.
Yeah.
And you hit gold with that one.
Yeah, so
you hit gold.
We ain't going nowhere. We solid. We solid.
He said
believe
so.
that.
If you was wondering, no. If you was wondering, no.
I believe that.
Okay. So a father, now sports commentating. I get to catch you every postseason and preseason interview when it comes to the Washington Commanders. How did you finally get a chance to adapt into becoming the analyst with Fox?
How much time we got left?
We got a little time. We got a little time.
I always said it because that was I keep using the word journey, but that's all it is. That's all it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
And part of that was when you're in the position I was, you had to scratch, claw, and fight, your way out of that, that kind of hole.
Yeah.
Everybody got a plan, right?
Right.
So you get punched in the face.
Very much so.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, 100%, and it hurts.
Yeah. So I mean that was me. And when I went to school for communications, and I told myself, hey, if I could make a career out of it, that would be the seamless transition into broadcasting.
Yeah.
But obviously, that 2-3 years of just trying to find myself and rediscover myself and discover some other things in certain aspects. I discovered it was more about not being a pillar on the field, but being a pillar off of the field. So,
right.
I mean, we started the foundation during that process, put out a children's book.
Yep.
And we've done a lot of good and just trying to be change we want to see. As a parent, I had another kid right around that time as well. So, total of 3.
Wow.
So, I mean, it just, puts everything, it changes your perspective. Your
Right.
perspective is ever changing and evolving.
Right.
And for us, me and my wife, the reason we started the foundation is because we just want to leave this world a better place, and we found it, right?
Yeah.
And we want to do our part.
Right.
And so had it not been for the, that severe head injury, concussion, who knows? I don't think that would have been the case.
Wow.
As far as what we do now, with our foundation within
Yeah.
the community. Yes, I was involved in community events, engagements. Well, on the franchises, respective franchises I played for, but I didn't think it was a calling of mine.
Right.
I'm great for me. Like I said, once again, everything happened. I won't say I'm great. Everything happened for a reason.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
But just but broadcasting and just that part of the game still being close to it, I guess, is something I always still wanted to do, and so just to have that opportunity to do that now is very rewarding.
So the next 5 years, where does Kyle Arrington see himself?
That's a good question. I don't. So it's interesting because I'm a big picture thinker.
Okay.
Right. But not necessarily myself. I don't look at it where I want to be. I look at it what I want to see.
Okay.
Right. So
what do you want to see overall 5 years? Because you've done a whole bunch of stuff in your nonprofit, especially with the foundation, especially with you recalibrated the entire weight room at your high school. A lot of people that make money don't even go back and do that. They get a press box or something, whatever, and that's about it. But they don't do too much to give back to their neighborhood. So you've done that piece of it, and still throw football camps every year. 5 years.
Before that, and mind you, physically there damn near every day, painting equipment, rolling out the new mats, helping install the new lights. Wow. But I don't say that to brag. I say that because that's what it takes. Yeah. It takes showing up. It takes more than just words. It takes action. It takes being there. Yeah. And so for me,
right, yeah.
And so that's when I say doing our part. That's me doing my part. Yeah. Like not only just talking about it, but being about it.
Yeah.
So what I guess maybe in 5 years, I don't know. Maybe I want to see. For me, I always say it's not about the medium; it's about the message. Whether that was being an author, whether I was playing football, whether that's acting. I acted in a few. I never envisioned myself doing that. Being an entrepreneur, having this conversation, like where this exact conversation we're having right now. Like where do I want that to live and breathe? Right. So it's about the story we're trying to tell. Right. So I don't know where I will be, physically or what I'm doing, but I just know what I want to see in 5 years is just that message amplified. Got it. To the highest degree that it can go, that it can reach, because we're at a very precarious time. I feel like
very much so.
That we times we live in. I mean, it's it's crazy. You think about it. Yeah. So and really another reason why we do what we do, because in order to right this ship, it's going to start with the next generation. Yeah. And so we don't give them the tools, the opportunities, the resources, and the exposure, to make a difference.
Got it.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, I gotta ask you your top five players that gave you hell on the field.
I mean, couldn't go without that. We couldn't leave without that question.
Not at all.
So I would say my own teammate. I was just to throw Julian Edelman up there because him and Tom and Wes's relationship was special. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I really feel like what him and Edelman developed was something like just to behold, because when you talk about just how do you defend like chemistry, Yeah,
because they was lockstep. It was insane. Now him and Gronk, guaranteed. But you're right. Him and Jules is a little different. Okay, so Jules.
So Jules, I would say before they was Cheetah, Tyreek Hill, there was Mike Wallace.
Yes.
Started his career in Pittsburgh, Miami, and also ultimately became my teammate in Baltimore for a year. Great brother, but I mean, when I talk about just natural, just speed, and just that boy got some slave feet. I'm trying to tell you, that boy got some slave feet, yo. I mean, I when you talk about a start and stop, I've never seen anyone faster. I mean, yes, you got Cheetah now, but I mean, before they was Cheetah, it was Mike Wallace.
Okay.
I was Vincent Jackson, God rest his soul. He was just a specimen, man. How do you cover all that real estate? Yeah. Tall, fat. I mean, he had it all. He was a great route runner, better route runner people give him credit for. Okay. Like I said, tall, physical. So another Megatron, obviously. I mean, for all the reasons I don't
reason.
I don't even have to state. Really at this point. I mean, they come in so many shapes and sizes. You had your Reggie Waynes. You had your Andre Johnsons as well. You had your Stevie Johnson. Anybody with last name Johnson.
Anybody with the last name Johnson.
But even Stevie Johnson with Buffalo, people who remember him in Buffalo, he was out there playing basketball on the field, So forget trying to jam him. I'm not, and we were like real. They would emphasize like, jam, disrupt the time, and like. I'm not jamming him.
I'm not doing this.
I'm not getting crossed
You
up.
do it.
Yeah, I'm playing off. He's not faster than me, so I'm gonna play off. So
man.
like I said, Antonio Brown's. Like I said, they come in so many shapes and sizes. It was they week in, week out, they didn't make it easy.
Yeah, but they made you better.
There you go. Iron sharpens iron.
Very much so. Kyle, this is very full circle. As much as I said in the beginning, I have not heard this man talk this much, and I've known him for 31 years. Literally.
Maybe the most words we've ever said in
an
hour in 30 years, right?
Literally. Like, his sister was a force on the basketball court. She helped train me. So it's like.
And she talked enough for the both of us.
I'm going to let. See, Kara's the oldest. So,
I'm going to pay for that.
So he's definitely going to catch hell for that one. Kyle, thank you, brother. I'm proud of you. I'm glad to see you come out of your shell. It's different to see you in this space, but to also see you happy and healthy in this space where it's like you're no longer feeling like you're fighting, or at least showing that you're fighting. It's like you're kind of walking in rooms that have been designed for you without having to argue in certain spaces. And so for a person like myself who has played the game, had my woes in certain aspects, and get to see the fullness of what timing looks like. I'm super, super grateful that it's happening, at least for you. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Likewise, sis. I've seen the growth development as well on my end as well.
Yeah.
So and I'll keep doing what you're doing, and keep being the social proof.
I appreciate
that. We talk about that. Like I said, man, we just not even just our kids, our adults even, especially sometimes even more so, our adults need. To so just keep leading by example.
Facts. All right, and we are out.